difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
In the house, and we're going to be doing some updates and some good strong cup of tea. Tonight is tenacity Lee, I think, tenaciously, I think it is, exposing and accuracies, atrocities. Jesus, Murphy, Miss Liz, why you can't even talk tonight? What are you drinking, Miss Liz? So before we get started, guys, we're going to get the disclaimer out there. We're going to get a bio. But before all of that, we're going to get you over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel. Ring that little doorbell, and then you can watch these times at any time. In your home, in your car, at an event, all of that good stuff, morning, night, or evening, whenever you feel like listening to Tea Time, turn it on. So what does Miss Liz offer you? Well, I offer you over 300 different interviews from all walks of life, all different kinds of topics and things to enjoy. And of course, a lot of different types of teas. So you'll get a TEA from all of my guests from season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So let's get the disclaimer going, and then let me get the bio, and then we're going to get Pepper in here, and we're going to spill some tea together. Miss Liz is going to try and get her tongue to untwist itself, and we're going to have some good time tonight. So disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forth dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment and taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. Significant to know that the show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in tonight's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes, and we'll see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all regular tea times are done on Thursday, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's a rescheduled tea time, surprise tea time, or a special tea time. Miss Liz just does tea all the time. So now a little bit about Pepper. Well, who's Pepper Ann? Well, you can see she's that cute little cartoon character there, but you're going to see Pepper Ann in just a few seconds. Pepper Ann is a 7th-generation Texan where she and her family currently reside. She has diligently worked with private investigators, which helped flush her narrative with detailed excellence in her true crime book. She has protected her identity because there are people not too happy that she published her first book, warning her to stop and hacking her computer, but she refused to give up. Her life and her family lives were even put in jeopardy. This only puts more resolve into her to continue writing the truth of what happened. Pepper's goal is to bring the real story behind the stories where it's all heard about. She is making sure that we all hear all sides of the story so that we make our own decisions of right and wrong and justice. While her ultimate focus is and always will be true crimes, some stories are too hidden to bring to light, which is why Pepper decided to also dabble in writing crime fictions where the stories are inspired by real crimes. Let me get Pepper in here, and let's spill some tea. And Miss Liz, sip of her tea. Welcome, Pepper.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be back.
I was like, oh my God, did we lose the sound? Like, we were just in the back having some fun, and we were talking a little bit and getting away with time. And then we were like, oh my goodness, we got to get online. Like, do this. So Pepper, you were on last year for your book, and we were talking in the background about book two, but we won't talk about book two just yet. We're talking about book one. For the people who haven't seen your first time on Tea Time, share a little bit about that. But before we get into that, Pepper, I'm going to take you way back a little bit.
Okay.
So who was Pepper as a little girl, and who's Pepper now?
Oh, Pepper as a little girl, she was always getting into trouble, always digging around, looking for adventures and fun things to do. Uh, Always reading, grabbing books, trying to read and learn stories along the way. And as she got older, she realized that life is full of adventures, and that's what it's about. You got to live life to the fullest.
And that's what I love about you, because the last time Pepper was on after the live show, we talked, I think, until 2 in the morning. I think it was. We
Yeah,
talked for a long time after,
I know.
and
Yeah,
we were like, we gotta go, we gotta go to bed.
we had a lot more to say. Yeah, don't ever leave anything unsaid.
And that's just how it works on Tea Time, right? Never know how long you're stuck with Miss Liz.
Oh, but you know what? It was so much fun. It was one of the best moments I've had in a long, long time. So no, it was so worth
It
it.
was a
Yeah.
blast. So, Pepper, do you want to share a little bit about book one?
Okay, let's see. First off, book one is about a family member who I learned a little bit of the history of the individual about. He's a well-known criminal here in the state of Texas. He was a cattle rustler, escaped jail twice, uh, had been tagged as a notorious um, criminal on the run, and he was involved in a shootout, an 8-hour shootout against law enforcement. So the story made news, headline news back in, you know, 2000, 2001. And I started digging, and actually, one of the main things that caught my interest was there was a large crime ring in the state of Texas. Those individuals he was caught up with, and they were set free, and he's the only one that fell for those crimes. And the more I dug, the more I realized those individuals were still at play. So I wanted to expose it, and that's what I did. I wrote a book that his in a nutshell, it's made a lot of people mad because they didn't want their names out there. But yeah,
So, Pepper, what has changed since you last been on Tea Time?
well, the book was published in August of 2022, and I've attended a lot of events. I've gone to book signings. I've done public speaking at universities and libraries. And every time I attend an event, I'm either contacted by some of those individuals I exposed, or they just randomly show up at the event,
Oh,
making an appearance to let me know that they're there. Um, I've been contacted by them. They're wanting to get me off by myself to talk to me about the book. Of course, I'm not going to do it. Why would I? why would I want to? Why would I want to talk to them alone? I've had a lot of them reach out to me,
so
and
Pepper, do you feel like scared when they show up at the events?
I'm not scared. I have usually have family or friends with me. They go to the events, and I'm in a different frame of mind when they're with me because you it's instinct. You become protective of your loved ones. If I'm by myself, it's different. But when I have my loved ones around me, there's a little fear. Yeah. Um, it's a fear of wanting to get my loved ones to safety. Um, was an event where one of the individuals showed up and she was taking pictures. My mom and I were at the event. She was taking pictures. Just came up, randomly spoke to us. We were staying overnight in a hotel. My mom and I were, and we were going to return back to the event the next morning. And I caught a man in the lobby of the hotel, and he was with them, and he was tailing us, and he was watching everything we were doing. I believe the gal that took the picture showed it to him so he could identify us. We got downstairs the next morning. I think it was probably about 6:30 or 7 in the morning. I told my mom, we need to go home. We got downstairs. I wish that I had taken a picture of the fellow's face because it was classic. The look on his face, he was sitting in the lobby where everybody else was getting coffee. And he took a drink of his coffee and he looked up at me and he saw me looking at him. And I was just staring at him, just looking at him. And he looked so shocked. And he tried to put his head down where I wouldn't recognize him, but I could identify him today. So could my mom. And
Wow.
he was trying to be discreet. There was nothing discreet about him. That's just one instance, you know. Um, they're not bold, they're stupid. They're just stupid. And, that's how I was able to expose these people in the book.
Well, and that's what we said in the background, right? When we were talking before we went live, was, like they're so smart that they're so stupid.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. I do want to say this. They are still reaching out to Bob and all the correspondence and things that they do with him. Because, he's my cousin. He's the one the book is about. I have it. I have all the proof. I
Yeah.
have everything. They don't realize what they're doing is that, you know, they're just providing proof of what they're doing. And it's
Well,
wrong.
exactly, right? Because they're just increasing in, exposure, right?
Yeah, yeah, you're
They're
absolutely
giving they're giving you more juicy details for the next book.
right. Yeah, that next book won't happen until we have a fair investigation, and then I don't have a problem exposing it all. It, uh, it's a shame. I think the problem is they've never had to answer for their crimes. They've never had to. They've never been held accountable for what they've done, and they're going to keep doing it until they are.
Yeah. So when you were on Tea Time the last time, Pepper, you
Uh-huh.
you said you were going to see Bob at the jail, right?
Hmm.
Are
Hmm.
you still going to see Bob?
Well, no. So, let's see. Actually, what I did was I had my name taken off of his visiting list. I was
Okay.
visiting him up until the book came out, and then I had my name removed from his visiting list because I told him I want you to remove these individuals, and he didn't do it. So I thought, okay, I don't want them tied up with our family, so I removed my name. It almost doesn't matter because they're still bleeding in over here to us. But I am still in contact with Bob. Don't visit him yet. I may go back to see him. I can if I want to have if I want to put my name back on his list. I can. There's steps you have to take.
Yeah.
Um, with anything. But yeah, it's been probably 2 years, I think, since I've seen him in
Wow.
person. Yeah.
So the last time you seen him was just before you came on Tea Time then.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I still
So
correspond with him, but I don't. Like I said, I haven't seen him.
so are you talking on phones now or
We correspond through email. There's a service that's set up through TDC, Texas Department of Corrections, and we're able to correspond that way. So yeah. Of course, everything's monitored through the prison system, but yeah, but we do correspond that way. Yeah.
so Pepper, do you want to share a little bit about book 2 or do you want to wait until it actually comes out?
I don't mind sharing a little bit about it. The only thing I cannot tell you is the release date.
Like we said in the back, it's taking its time.
I don't really know the definition of soon. I always assumed soon meant weeks or a month, 2 months, but apparently my soon is it's it's a lot longer than soon, but it's actually it's a fiction series, but it's um, based off of so I got the idea. It's inspired by actual events, actual crime, and since I've never written fiction before, but it is inspired by actual events, my editor is helping me with it. So it's a crime series. It's called Penny Pearl Mysteries, but there's also humor in it. So I have a couple of different things that I'm writing in the mix, and so my editor is helping me to make sure that it all fits just so. The first book in the series was supposed to be released this summer, but it's not.
Well,
It's not.
summer's not over yet. We're just going into fall, so you might be able to
I know.
pull it off.
You know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to have it. my, my editor John, he says no, this can't go, and I listen. I listen. You know, he's one of those. If he says yes or no, I do whatever he says. So yeah, we're still back and forth right now with that. Yeah.
So, Pepper, you were talking to me. I don't know if we were talking on TikTok about it, but you were talking about the Crime Con. Is it like the Comic Con that you went to, or that you're taking a part of?
Well, okay, so there was actually it was a true crime mini con event at the
Okay.
Dallas Public Library. Yeah. I was actually invited as one of the guest authors to attend, and I believe it was June 15th. I believe that's when it was. And I was invited to go, and I was actually on an author panel with other wonderful authors, and believe there was a young lady who hosts a true crime podcast, and it was so much fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and of course, I had a little mini book signing, and I got to meet people, and they were so wonderful with me at the Dallas Public Library. They were amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember us having a conversation about something like a Comic Con, and I was just like, I remember her saying something, or did I dream that? I don't know. Sometimes we talk for so long, sometimes I'm just like, did it really happen, or did I dream it? Did I dream about Pepper and her crimes?
No, no, it did. It really happened. It really happened. You know what? And actually, I do want to share this. Before I went to the event, I was contacted by one of the individuals who lives in the area that I exposed, and they wanted to know if they could meet and speak with me off to the side, not at the library event, but somewhere outside. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
That
wild?
is crazy.
So yeah, yeah. But yeah,
And
you
we
didn't dream that. You didn't dream it. It was all real.
and we talked the last time when you were on Tea Time. Are you looking at making this into a movie?
Well, I haven't been contacted by anyone. If someone is interested in it, then I might. I think you know what. Actually, right now it's still it seems to really be taking off. A lot of people are really starting to uh, learn about the book, and I'm receiving more and more reviews and emails from people asking me questions about it. They're very interested in it. But as far as a movie or anything, nothing has been said,
Would
or
you
no
like
one.
it? Would you like to turn it into a movie?
I don't know. You know what? I did it first. Um, Possibly if it's done in a respectful manner. Because I became close to a lot of the victims, individuals who had some of them were traumatized by some of the crimes that were committed, and so I I've had people tell me when they read the book that it needs to be turned into a movie. I wouldn't be against it, but of course I would have a lot of questions like anybody would. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and it's dear to your heart too because it's family, right? Like this is part of your history.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. And the whole point of me writing this story was because I wanted to get the truth out there. I wanted to tell what actually happened. There's several versions or stories with holes in them um, about the events. And then there's a lot of things that have never been told. And so it was giving me the opportunity to tell that. And, I don't mind if someone wants to watch a movie about it, but I want to make sure they understand the facts. I want them to know what happened because I know I've heard, sometimes Hollywood, when they take a book and they turn it into a movie, they twist it and
Yeah.
do it the way they want it. So um, it's important to me that the real story, that it's known. Yeah.
So, Pepper, what has ever happened to Bob's wife?
Well, his ex-wife. We
Oh
don't
yeah,
have
that's right,
to
ex-wife.
yeah, the ex. Yeah, we don't. Make sure you put an X
Let's
in
put that
front
X in there, right? Then
of
she's branded.
that. The second one, we really his second ex-wife, we really liked her, but this third one is boy, she's nothing at all what any of us I guess expected. Um, so what happened to her? Well, let's see. She and I explain a little bit I go into detail a little bit in the book about it, but she turned herself in Denton County, that's in Texas, and she was charged with some of the crimes that were committed, and then she bonded out. And I guess in the process, while all that was happening, Bob was on the run, and they finally captured him, and then they arrested him. They sent him to Grayson County, and while all that was going on, then he escaped Grayson County with 4 other inmates in there. So her stuff kind of, I don't want to say it went away, but he became the headline. And so I think things kind of centered mostly around him. He didn't have any business escaping jail. But I think because of his crimes after the fact and everything that was committed, I think everything kind of went in the direction of him. And her stuff kind of, you know, fizzled in the background. She eventually was able to, she ended up in Louisiana and her attorney was able to kind of get her out of, they were able to get her out of a few things. Um, and she just kind of resumed her life in McKinney. Um, she's working for a worldwide adoption agency, which I expose in the book. Um, she'd had charges, federal and state charges, because she had written. Uh, she got loans on the cattle that she and Bob had got, and that's federal at the bank on the bank level. It's federal. So she had all these crimes that she committed, and now here she is working for a worldwide adoption agency, overseeing their finances, and just doing all these things that somebody who has a criminal history really shouldn't be doing. But
Wow.
I don't know. She just managed to. She's not the only one. She's not the only one. There are others um, who managed to get away with their crimes, and they're still committing them today. Yeah.
Wow. So is she working with children or she's working with the agency?
Well, she was working with children, from my understanding. Now I don't know if she's still working with the agency. I think since my book came out, she may be working with animals.
Wow.
Yeah, she posted online she was wanting to pet sit for people's dogs and cats. So
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I know. Yeah.
So Pepper, we have a couple questions here for you.
Okay.
Number one question is, how did you get the name Pepper Ann?
You know what? It is a pen name. And I came up with it. Well, I'm sure everybody knows the cartoon Pepper Ann. Everyone remembers that. Um, Between that and Christmas is my favorite time of the year. So I always think Pepper Ann, peppermint, and it just kind of something. It just kind of came to me. I thought, why don't we just do Pepper Ann? And it just, it was one of those things. But yes, it is a pen name. It is a pen name.
The next question we have for you, Pepper, is when did you start writing crime stories, or is this the first crime story you've written?
Well, this is actually the first crime story I've written. I always wanted to write, but I didn't have a story. I always thought that I would write comedy. And then once I learned the story about this, then about 14 years ago, I took it on. And it took me 12 years to write it. If you had asked me 14, 15 years ago, would I ever consider writing crime? I would have said no because I don't like graphic stuff. I always, I liked watching the crime shows, um, but I can only listen and watch so much of them because it feels like to me sometimes a lot of that can bring you down. I like to hear inspiring stories. So, um, yeah.
Let's change that around because we talked about the crime stories. And before we went live, we talked about anthologies because you've written in a couple of anthologies. So do you want to share a little bit about that?
Oh my goodness. So let me just say, my PA, Laura, she actually is the one. Their anthologies put on through her. Indie Advocate. Oh my goodness, I should know this. And they're put on through her. So the first one, well, there's several of them. One is Cracked, and it's a story. I can't remember my story that I wrote in it. She's gonna kill me. She's gonna watch this and go, "You can't. You can remember that."
We can just go bleep, 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 bleep.
I keep telling her I want her to come on one of these podcasts with me. Listen, the lady is smart as a whip. She could tell you, but yeah, but she is amazing. So she puts these, she does these anthologies, and she's the one that oversees them, and she, you know, puts out for authors who are interested in writing and entering their short stories. And of course, we submit our work once they've been edited, and then and they're great. So all of the anthologies that my short stories are included in are under my Goodreads or my BookBub account, and you can see them. But Cracked, there's another one. It's Echoes. I call it Echoes. I know there's more. There's more to it, but Echoes. That one will be out in October. I think it's
Okay.
October 1st. But yeah, so and that's the scary one. It's got ghosts and everything in it. But um, and then there's I don't know how she's gonna feel about this, but I'm gonna say it. I hope she doesn't get mad. But I asked her if she would co-author a story with me, and she said, "I think so." So we're trying to get the story put together. So if if it all goes well and the story turns out well, Rose of Disgrace is the one that will be out in December. I think December 1st. And
So you got a couple books coming out this year.
well, a couple of stories in some anthologies, yeah, and again, the books are actually they're set up through Laura's business, so yeah, it's exciting. I'm so I'm so honored to be included in the book because there are a lot of amazing authors who submit their work into it, and it's also a great way to learn new authors and find you know new people that you like. So yeah.
Well, that's what I enjoy about writing in anthologies, right? Is you get to meet different people and different stories and connect. And, sometimes people have summits and get togethers, and then you get to meet all these different authors, and you just never know. You might make yourself a buddy, you know. You
Yeah.
might find the love of your life. You just never know when you're writing these anthologies, right?
And not only that, you're learning from other people too, you know. There's so many creative people out there, you know, we don't even know about. And yeah, like you said, you never know who you could run into the love of your life. I mean, it could
Right?
happen. I mean, you never
Right? Wouldn't that be a good story to tell?
know.
How did you find each other? We wrote a chapter.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I just did was it oh she's gonna yeah, I should have this I should know this. Um Maybe Cracked is the one that it's about. But what I did was in one of the stories, and I think it's the one that's coming out, and I believe it's Cracked. Don't quote me on that. Um, what we did was we got to take a fairy tale and we got to that's what it is, and we got to crack it. Yes. And so and what I did was I wrote a spin off of the Three Little Pigs, and I called mine Three Petite Pigs and a Wolf. And let me just tell you, it is funny. It's hilarious because you got the pigs, their country. They get in a bar fight. They play in a band, and then you find out a little bit about their you find out a little bit about their family history, and then they share in the story about being related to Miss Piggy and what their uncle thought about her bringing an amphibian home, which was Kermit the Frog. So
Well, there you go. You got your country western family right there.
comedy. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that is crack. That story is in the cracked anthology. But yeah.
Well, I kind of like that. Like you took it and twisted it into a good, humor book, like a humor story, and but you gave
But
some family history as well because Three Little Piggies and Miss Piggy and Kermit. You know how everybody got together, like how the outsider, the bad boy, came into the family. Like,
well, and you know what else I love? So I'm a facts person. I love facts, right? And I also put Porky Pig in the story as well. And I put because there was some friction between him and Daffy Duck. I don't know if you knew this back when they were in Looney Tunes? Yeah, I think it was a Looney
yeah, I
Tunes or
think so.
yeah. I should know this. Just wrote
Or
it.
Bugs Bunny. Was it Bugs Bunny?
Do I think yeah, he was that's
Bugs
all.
Bunny in the Looney Tunes, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I write a little bit about that, but what I love is I got to do a little research and I got to learn about how these characters were created. And once I did, I thought, hey, I'm going to tie them all together. And I did. And his wife, Petunia Pig, do you remember her? Porky and Petunia Pig? Yeah, they had daughters.
Now we're going back along. We're going to
No,
give our ages away.
I know, I know. But this story is funny. It's hilarious. I had friends and family read it. They said, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" But I got to dig the facts. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's cool when we add facts, right? Because then it brings a stronger punch to the story as well because there is facts there.
I mean, I know it's a story about three little pigs, but it made it kind of realistic, you know.
And who doesn't like the Three Little Pigs, right?
I had one of the pigs playing a fiddle in the band, and he got mad and cracked the fiddle over somebody's head. It just is funny.
Got a
It's
good old
funny.
country brawl there.
Yeah, yeah. That's in cracked. That's in the cracked anthology. Make sure you and read the other authors too, because there's a lot of great ones in the mix. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? When there's an anthology, if somebody doesn't resonate with your but another story, that's what I like about anthologies.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not our story that are coming. There we go. We're back. Good old technology wants to play with Miss Liz. They want to put me in a wormhole again.
Oh, I know, I know. Mine does
So,
that too.
Pepper, I want to talk about I want to talk about the Penny Pearl crime fiction mysteries that are coming. Is that started yet?
Well, that's actually the one I was talking about. So that's the one that
Okay.
my editor and I are working on. Yeah. So I've got that one going, and I'm going to throw out another one. So Penny Pearl, we're working on the first book, and we've got it.
Okay.
It's drafted and ready, but we're going back and forth. My editor and I are, and I want to make sure that it reads the way that it's supposed to. I don't want it to sound outlandish. I want everything to be just so. Um, from the anthologies, each one of the stories so far that I've done, um, I'm putting those into another series that I'm doing. And I have not mentioned this yet. So this is a first time. And it's going to be a spinoff of Penny Pearl. But I'm wanting to do it as the traveling Tootsies. And that's going to be older family members of Penny Pearl. Now I'm doing these and those books will come out about the same time, within maybe a month of each other. While I'm doing those, I'm also collecting information for my next. I have two true crime stories that I'm gathering information on. And it takes a while. You have to get FOIA records and so that stuff takes time. So
It does take time, right? And a
yeah.
lot of writers out there, like some might write a book in 2 weeks or in 2 days, but if you really want a good story, it does take time to build it up and get it into the way that it can make a good sale, right? And make a good pitch for a movie and stuff like that as well. So
And and Laura kept saying you need to maybe try some crime fiction. So that's where the idea of the crime fiction series came in at. And I thought, well, it's going to take some time to get all this information for the next true crime story. So while I'm waiting, I might as well take advantage of the time. And so that's kind of what happened. Yeah.
so we have a question here for you, Pepper. What is your favorite crime book that you've read that you haven't written?
I think it's called Blood Will Tell. Do you all remember? And I'm not going to have the exact date, but it was back in the 70s or 80s. A man named Colin Davis was in the Dallas Fort Worth area. He was he a millionaire or billionaire? I can't remember. But anyways, he was able to. He had he tried to murder his ex-wife. There was a movie about it,
Oh,
and yeah, and
is it
he was.
called the same as the book?
It's called Blood Will Tell. I don't remember the name of the movie. It may be, but it's based off of the book. Now it may either be that one or another one, but there are several books written on the topic. And those who, if you just type in Colin Davis, you'll be able to learn more about the story and get the facts. But what interested me the most was he had hired someone, and um, he was charged, but the charges somehow they kind of fizzled away. And what he did was he paid a lot of money to make them go away, or he was charged with something, or so I think maybe he was acquitted. And I'm sorry, I don't know, but I should, and I apologize for not having the story straight. But I will say this: so he had paid. Maybe I shouldn't say he paid, but a lot of people assume that he did. There was a lot of evidence where somebody went in and had killed his ex-wife's daughter and his ex-wife's boyfriend at the time, and
Wow.
so there were two deaths. Yeah, and it was huge. It was huge, and I believe Cullen is in his 80s or maybe in his 90s today, and I think he's still in the Dallas Fort Worth area, possibly. So he's still alive, but he was he's the first one that was charged with a crime such as that and was able to get away with it.
I'll have to check it out. I,
Yeah,
I'm a big junkie on crime shows and like real crime. I like real life stories because I know that it actually happened to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Um, when it's man made, like I'm just like it doesn't grab my interest.
Yeah.
But I always like to have like like at the end of a movie where they say like if the person survived or if they got sentencing or they did this many years. I always like to see that, right? Because then you know that the story has continued on.
Who was the lady? And I know you knew who she is, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Did you ever watch Melrose Place?
Yes.
You know, the blonde, the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
she was married to a rock star, I think.
Am I thinking that? No, I'm thinking Melrose Place. Okay.
She was
Melrose
real
Place came
cute.
out like when 90210 came out, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. Oh my
Okay.
God, everybody's gonna listen. My mind is all over
Well,
the
for
place.
all the
I
listeners
know
out there, maybe they know who this blonde girl was on Melrose Place. Put it in the comment section because uh, I'm drawing a blank, but I know who you're talking about because 90210. Now I'm thinking of all the shows that I used to watch back then.
I,
Here we are again. We're giving our ages away, girl and guys.
I
Like,
know. I apologize because I should be able to give more information about Colin Davis. I am sorry. I'm only working on a few hours of sleep. I apologize. I know. But this oh my goodness, I cannot remember her name. And she well, I guess she was best friends with Denise Richards.
was it Tori Spelling?
No, not Tori Spelling. The other, not Tori Spelling's friend, but this is the well, no, she wasn't on 90210. She was on Melrose Place.
Okay, Melrose.
I know you know who she is. But anyway, she was in the movie. She was in the movie about Colin Davis. She played the wife, the ex-wife, I guess. Oh, I cannot remember her name.
It's not the blonde chick that was on Dallas, was it? No. Or Dynasty. No.
Yes, I think was she on she was on she was also on in a cop in a detective show. TJ Hooker?
Oh,
I know.
goodness.
This is showing our age.
We're gonna get off of this call. We're gonna get off of this interview, and I'm gonna be like, ding, 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 ding. I know who it is. I can't think of it for the life of
I'm
me.
gonna Google this. Hold on just a minute. I'm sorry. I apologize. Just give me I apologize. I should know
And this is how tea time works, guys. If you guys can
this.
tell us the answer, put it in the comment section because we're trying to figure out the blonde chick from Melrose
Heather
Place.
Locklear. It's Heather
Oh
Locklear.
my goodness, yes.
Yes, yes.
She was on. Wasn't she on part of Chips as well? The motorcycle
I was thinking it
people.
was TJ Hooker. Was it Chips? It might have been. I should Google Colin Davis so I can get that story straight and tell you.
Here we are going down memory lane, right?
I
Well, there were some crimes back then too, wasn't there? On on
Yeah.
some of those shows.
You know
Uh,
what? And there are a lot of them that were never solved. You know
yeah,
what's
right.
amazing in today with today's technology? There's something to be said for it. There are a lot of crimes today compared to, we'll just say 20 or 30 years ago. It's easier for them to solve a case now than it was back
Yeah,
then because there's so much. So yeah,
yeah. I love watching the cold cases because when they
yeah,
pull out those cold cases, and with the technology they have today, boom, they're solving them within like a couple of months. And some of those cold cases are like 20, 30 years old. Like,
yeah, yeah, that's true. And some of those people, the family members that of the people who were murdered, have since passed on. You know, and they spent most of their lives trying to solve the cases and to
yeah.
figure out who did it, and never, you know, never solved. Yeah, it's just
Now,
interesting.
Pepper, I'm telling you, now you got me wanting to go down memory lane with all these shows. I'm going to be Googling them and seeing if I can stream them on my TV.
I watch Mama's Family and Designing Women every once in a while when I need a break, and I know how old they are. I mean, the shows, you know. I know.
Yeah. Well, it just shows that we're not young anymore, right?
Shows we have good taste. We
Yeah.
know.
We got good taste and good shows. So, Pepper, I want to get into your tea. And I'm gonna get you to say the T because I can't say because my tongue is all twisted. It's gonna go twisted all again. Give me the T that you gave me, and then we're gonna talk about why you gave me those words.
Okay. So it's tenaciously
There we
exposing
go.
atrocities. That's I can't remember what my last one was, but this one I was on it. I was like, hey. So basically, the reason I picked that T is because it shows that I'm passionately exposing wrongdoing, and it feels like I'm doing it more now than I did before. Because before I was a little uncertain. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do, but with the individuals who have been reaching out to me, I'm determined. I'm like, nope, we're gonna get this out there even more. So that's why that's my tea today. Yeah,
So the last word, atrocities.
atrocity.
For anybody that doesn't know what that word is, do you want to share a little bit about that?
Well, atrocities. Um, okay, we're gonna have people come at us. Please remember.
Uh, we're used to people coming at us, Pepper.
Not gonna be a first, right? When I think of atrocities, I think of wrongdoings. I think of maybe catastrophes. I think of things that are just a big mess, just a big, crazy cluster mess of things that need to be need to be fixed. Yeah, problems,
Yeah,
really bad problems. Yeah,
big problems. The big
yeah,
bad boy. What is it? The Wild Wild West, the song,
yeah. There you go. That should be my theme song.
right? The Wild Wild West. That would be a good song for your book, The
Oh,
Wild
you're
Wild
not
West.
kidding. I know. There's so many books. I mean, so many songs. Yeah, the Wild Wild West would be perfect for it.
Absolutely. So, Pepper, you gave me the word vibrant to describe yourself as a person. Why that
Mhm.
word?
Vibrant.
Yeah,
Well, I like to think that with everything going on, I'm trying to be as positive and upbeat as much as I can. I'm trying to uh, keep things going in a good even kill. I like to try to shine as bright as I can. I think we all have that. I think that should describe all of us. I think we all have a gift that would make us vibrant, would make us stand out. Because we do. Each of us have something, and it's different. It's different about us, but we all can shine in our own way. And to me, that's
absolutely.
what the vibrant. That's where that comes in. Um,
So, do you remember the favorite color you gave me?
I don't. Was it blue, teal?
Teal.
Was it really teal?
Yep.
Oh, well, that's that. Well, okay, well that is my favorite color. So have
I was
faith.
gonna say, well, I asked you, you're like, well, you know what? Teal's in the blue family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so my house is a lot. I have a lot of teal in my home. Maybe I
Oh,
need to. Well, I mean, I don't know if that ever goes out of style, but I love it. It's so pretty and it's vibrant.
there you go. There's a vibrant and there's a teal. It's because sometimes when my guests return, sometimes they change their colors and then they're like, what color did I give you the first time? What color did I give you the second time? And sometimes the guests come back 3, 4 times. Like I have a guest that's come back 6 times, and so he's almost giving me every single color of the rainbow, I think.
But you know what? I think it's our mood. I think it's our mood. Yeah,
Right?
because I mean, if you think about it, if someone goes for the darker colors, they might be going through something kind of dramatic in their life, or if they go with the lighter colors, things might be easy and sunshiny for them. you know. Yeah, makes
Right?
sense.
And colors tell us a lot too about people.
Yeah.
And like you said, like the mood, right? Like depending on what they are, depending on what they're wearing too, sometimes, right? If they're always in black, you're like, what they had and what kind of secrets they got.
They want to do more than just than just come across as a slim individual. Not that anybody needs to, but there's
Yeah,
some drama there. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then white. White is like, White, when I see someone in white, it makes me really question because white is really out there, right?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So
Yeah.
do they want to be so out there that they don't get seen? Because sometimes you're so bright that you don't get seen, right?
No, well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Or white is different. Maybe they want to stand out, because you don't. I've noticed on television and even looking through online, the colors. You see a lot of people, a lot of ladies. I haven't noticed men, but more ladies do this. They wear a real pretty, like a white or cream color suit with a real pretty color underneath it, a bold one, like a blue
Yeah.
or a red. And I'm thinking, well, do they want to stand out or are they trying to stay hidden? It's beautiful. The contrast is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. It could go
Well,
either
well, it,
way.
well, Pepper, it's almost like a crime scene, right?
Yeah.
Like some stuff stands out and some stuff is hidden because it's so bright. It's right in our face, but we're missing it because
Yeah.
we're so focused on getting the answer. But the answer is right in front of us sometimes.
That's true. You're so right. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of times we don't figure it out until we've already left the scene of the crime.
And then we're like, where was that carpet put again? Because sometimes people move stuff,
Well, that's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I never thought about that, but you're so right. It is kind of
so
like a crime scene of some sort. Yeah.
right? We're all criminals in our own special way.
Yeah, I guess so. Every once in a while, I'll eat grapes in a grocery store, so I guess that makes me a thief. But I don't steal. But I do grab the occasional. I'll look if I'm in the store and I'll grab. You want to make sure you're getting the sweetest of them, right? I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that.
They're going to be on the lookout for Pepper Ann with the grapes.
It's not like I'm peeling a banana. Taste it and put it back. I
Eat
guess
the
they all.
banana peel, fold up the banana peel, put it back.
Or an apple, take a bite and put it. Yeah. I know I'm not encouraging. Please don't do that, people. It's disgusting for those of us
Well,
who
you're
don't.
leaving like a perfect crime at the grocery store. Who ate the apple?
And they've got cameras all over the place. They can see you. You know.
Not that we're encouraging anybody to go out and start eating fruits and vegetables in the grocery store, but you know what? Sometimes you do get hungry when you're doing your groceries, right? And a little nibble doesn't hurt. I know my granddaughter. She usually gets a bag of grapes, and we just go and measure them first, pay for them,
Uh-huh.
and then she can eat them while we're shopping.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, they have the little. Well, depending on where you're at, they have the scales where you can pop them on there. You weigh
Yeah.
them, all that, and then you can take the tag. And I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. But the last time I went to the grocery store with my mom, I was trying to decide between the green, the purple, the red, all these different grapes. And I was looking around me to see if anybody was, around.
She's like checking it out.
And I grabbed one of each color, and I took a bite and I looked up and my mom said, "What are you doing?" Said, "I'm
Well, you're
trying."
testing to see which one was the better one to buy.
I said, "Do you want a grape?" She said, "No, but I like cherries." So she went over to the cherries. I was like, "Mom, you need to stop this." So I
Well, that
know.
and that could be your next, mini stories. Mini
Anthology. I hope I
mini
haven't
humor
disappointed.
crime stories.
I hope I haven't disappointed anyone. I apologize if I did.
So, Pepper, is there anything that I haven't mentioned that has happened since we've last seen each other?
Not that I can think of, other than, like I said, the individuals have been reaching out to me and, just wanting to speak to me. um, and showing up at events. And I think it's more just surprising. It's shocking.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that's really all. Other than I'm just continuing to move forward. The book's out there, and I will say this. Yes, I ended up having to do a second edition of the Notorious Texas Swindler because the first one wasn't allowed into the prison system
Oh,
because it was so detailed. Yes, I was so detailed about the jail escape, the Grayson County.
oh,
So I
you
had
went too deep for them.
I go, yes, 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 and that's okay. You know what? I took it out because I am not going to provide information for people. um, but yeah, so we're in the process of trying to get the second edition approved. So we should know within a week or two if it is. So that's really the only other thing that I haven't mentioned. That I was kind of concerned a little bit because um, the Notorious Texas Swindler is on a lot of websites. And one of the reasons it was important for me to try to get it corrected or to put another edition out there is because there are several websites that are specialized for family members who have loved ones who are incarcerated. And that book is up there for sale. And they don't offer refunds if you buy a book and it's rejected once it gets to the penal institution. These families are out of money. They can't, they can't get their money back. So it's important to me that for all the websites that it's on, that it be available for those people. And so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do that. I wanted to make sure that if these bookstores, these websites were going to have it available for people who were incarcerated, I wanted them to be able to have the right copy for their loved ones.
So, and
So
Pepper, do you have a shop on your website, correct?
I do. Yes, I sure do. And you can actually, so you can buy the first edition anywhere. The second edition is just now coming out. As I said, we're trying to make sure it's approved, and I believe it will be. And then once it is, any books that I have on my website, they're signed. So if you want an autographed copy from me, then you would come to my website. Otherwise, you can get the book anywhere, and it's in all these libraries as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
That's good that it's in the library. It's important to get our books in libraries as well.
I agree. Yeah, yeah. And then it's in all forms: paperback, hardback, ebook. So yeah,
So, Pepper, I found Mingle with Pepper. What's that about?
mingle with pepper. So if you scroll down, you will see all of the interviews I've done on the various podcasts. And in fact, our first one is on there. If you
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can learn a little more about. And then also an interview that I did with a website called allauthor.com, and it was an interview that I did, but it wasn't it's not verbal. It was a written one. So yeah,
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I did my homework. Are you still doing the bookmarks?
yes, yes, yes. Those are actually on. I believe you can get those through my newsletter, and you can actually sign up through my newsletter for my newsletter on the first page on the home page. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
You can get that there. Mingle with Pepper is all of my favorite podcasts. They're all on there. And
So
then
you'll get to see number one and number two of Miss
Mhm.
Liz with Pepper Ann.
You sure will. Yes, yes. And if you're ever wondering who I follow and who I listen to, right there, Mingle with Pepper. Those y'all are the only ones that you know, I'm so appreciative that you all give me the time of day to tell my story. So,
So Pepper, if
yeah,
anybody wanted to have you on their podcast or on their show, how could they reach you?
you can go on to my contact page, which is on the website, and send me an email. And
Now,
I'll
for all
show.
the audio listeners out there, do you want to read out your website and spell it out?
Yes. So it's pepperanauthor.com. Pepper is in the seasoning. Pepper. Ann is ANNE. And then author, AUTHOR.com. And you know what? I'm excited because when I typed in the title, The Notorious Sexist Swindler, I use the Google search engine. I take up like 4 or 5 pages on Google, and my website's up there. I'm just excited. I think that's wonderful, Yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure having you back, Pepper, and sitting and getting to bring back some memories of the good old TV shows and crimes and all that good stuff, right? So, for anybody that would like to know more about Tea Time, check out Miss Liz's website at www.misslizsteatime.com. No S on Tea Time. And if you'd like to see Miss Liz in video, you can go over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel. Check out Miss Liz's Tea Times. And if you'd like to know who is coming for September, stay tuned because that press release is going out September 24th. And there is some new countries that will be joining Miss Liz. So we will be adding those countries to all of the existing 67 countries that we've already had on Tea Time. We will be back Thursday at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. We will have Audrey Gale coming in with the Human Trial. She'll be talking about her book. And then we have Marie Powell coming in, and she'll be talking about her books and children's books and all that good stuff. So until then, I will wish you all a good night and keep serving your tea. We're not serving the beverage, we're serving real life stories and words on Tea Time with Miss Liz. So until then, I'll see you on Thursday, same time, same place, and we'll do it all over again.